Welcome to another day in our talk series, Mohiniyattam on a Wider Canvas. We are happy to have with us another senior Mohiniyattam dancer, Priyadarshini Ghosh. Priyadarshini Ghosh is the artistic director of Natya Nova and has been an established classical Mohiniyattam dancer as well as a contemporary dancer and choreographer for the past several years. She started her training with Guru Srimati Tangamani Kutti in the classical dance styles of Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam, and she specialized in Mohiniyattam with Kalamandalam Kalyani Kutti Amma, and is also a disciple of Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan in Abhinaya. She is also trained in Seraikela Chao with Sasadhar Acharya and is proficient in yoga with a teacher certification. She holds an MFA in dance from Kalidas Sanskrit University and also has a diploma for performing arts from the Children's Little Theatre. She has completed a senior fellowship in dance research from the Ministry of Culture, the Government of India. Now, apart from Mohiniyattam, she has also ventured into contemporary dance, amalgamating cross-training in some modern dance and improvisation techniques with Indian dance, martial arts, and yoga. She performs and lectures actively in prestigious venues and festivals, both as a soloist and also along with her troupe, the Natya Nova. So her tours include to East Europe and other countries. She is also a recipient of the prestigious Fulbright Scholarship. I extend a warm and hearty welcome to Priyadarshini Ghosh on behalf of Moham. And
Sure. So, I will begin by saying that, Bengal, not having a living structured stylization. I will not go into classical, Deshi or whatever. I think Bengalis have had the freedom to choose and learn whatever form they chose to. And you will have Bengalis doing all forms. And I think equally well. So I would begin by, post-colonial reconstructing, when our classicals were being structured. That is the time when at one end, Kerala Kalamandalam was getting set up with Narayana Vallathol, Narayana Menon. And here the Shantiniketan Vishwabharati was, coming up as the first performing arts, visual arts, university which had the arts. And it is from that time Bengal has had connects with Kerala because of this constant exchange between Vallathol and Tagore. Of course, it had the outside of Kerala, the first Kathakali faculty in the country. It is during this time, I know, after O Kalyani Amma, not Kalyani Kutti Amma.
Yes.
O Kalyani Amma was brought to teach at Kerala Kalamandalam. And I think Tankamani Gopinath started. After she left, there were no students. And that is the time Tagore said, send her to Shantiniketan. And she was there for 3 years. And the records say that she taught Malabari dances.
Okay.
Not Mohiniyattam, not anything, but of course at that point of time, nobody even knew what Mohiniyattam was. Even that was getting reconstructed. So it was, record says she taught Malabari dances. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to find anybody who can, can give a first-hand account of what exactly was taught.
Okay.
1930s, I don't think, I'm still trying. I will continue trying, and that's one search that is on for me. After that, again, you know, being Kathakali coming in, dancers from Kerala coming in to Bengal,
Yes.
a lot of Malayalis. There is a big settlement of Malayalis here,
Yes.
the Malayali Samajam. Uh, Kathakali, Guru Gopinath. After that, Guru Gopinath was the person who did come and visit Shantiniketan. And then he sent one of his senior students, Sri Balakrishna Menon,
Okay.
who came and settled in Kolkata, started teaching at Rabindra Bharati University, again where the performing arts section got started. And my initial training, by luck, I was learning at a place called Children's Little Theatre, where Balakrishna Menon was one of the main teachers.
Okay.
So my initial training was, you know, in the form of Guru Gopinath tradition.
Okay, great.
So, you know, that body kinetics and that muscle memory just came in without even me thinking.
Okay.
And there were these wonderful choreographies that we did with, you know, we used to call him Menanda, Hector. So, Menanda, for our Ramayan, choreographed the Jatayu, which was very much, you know, we didn't really learn the peacock from him, but it was based on that peacock of Guru Gopinath. And I see resonances of the Pakshi Sobab of Kudiyatam in that choreography.
All right.
And he did choreograph quite a few things which were very, 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 it was typical of, I will not say, it was nothing like the Kathakali that we see, you know, which we saw later as Kathakali. We learned a set of kalashams, which were also, they were beautiful. Unfortunately, I'm so sad that I forgotten that. So that was that initial thing, and a lot of Bengalis got trained in this tradition in Calcutta. So this I'm talking about late 50s, early 60s, 70s through 70s. Around 60s or late 50s, Guru Tankamani Kuti, Tankamani Auntie, she came in to Calcutta and started teaching, originally Bharatanatyam.
Okay.
But there were, I think we were the second generation of Mohiniyattam students. There were few of the Malayali girls who started doing Mohiniyattam with her.
Okay.
And when she started, this I'm talking about the 70s, she still remembered what she learned with Chinnamma.
Oh, okay.
So I think till our generation, no, though not exactly the same, maybe she had forgotten parts, but we learned the Cholkat, in fact, which, you know, we also had the Jaya Jagam, the Girisa Madhira, which was part of the Cholkat in the earlier days.
Yes.
And, you know, the Kummi steps which were there in the Cholkat, earlier construction. Though I've forgotten that Cholkat today. You know, and we learned the Varnam, Swami Ninne Namidara.
Okay.
You know, exactly the way it was taught as an Abhinaya Pradhan or based item with Nritta just in the Swaras.
Okay.
And I think she remembered the first part of the Swarajati. So those are things that she, you know, so I think for us, we also got that early tradition. So I would say I got that repository of what was developed, the development of early Mohiniyattam, what was happening.
Okay.
Because I know Balakrishna Menon, also, Tankamani Gopinath, after she got married, also taught Mohiniyattam.
Yes.
Amma Kalamandalam, Kalyani Kuti Amma taught in their school.
Yes.
So, that was kind of handed down.
Okay.
So this is what is my first early learnings.
Okay. I think that's remarkable because so you say even at that time so many Bengalis were learning Mohiniyattam. That kind of openness is not very common in other places in India, especially
Yeah,
to doesn't belong to your region.
Yes. But as I said, which is why I started,
Yes.
the Bengalis did not have that, I would say, a burden of a stylization that you had to learn or you were learning. We had the freedom to choose. So that was a big thing, I think, in, Bengal. So, through 80s, I was learning with Tankamani's auntie and all her choreographies. There were two Bengali girls before me who were the first generation who started learning with her. And there others were from the South Indian community. But very few, was very small. So automatically being the very few girls doing Mohiniyattam, I kind of got pushed and my Bharatanatyam took a major backseat. And, so with that, I said, if I am doing this dance form, I need to go to the culture and do it, find out and know more. So I moved to Bangalore in 1988.
Okay.
And from there, I was also learning with Kalanidhi Mami. And, the Ritagram was set up, 89, 90. And that is where, Mami was there. Shamala Surendran in Kochi.
Yes.
So Shamala was also Mami's student. And she was also learning with Kalyani Kutyam. And there they also came to start the Gurukulam.
Yes.
And then Mami told me, go with Shamala, that is where you need to go. And that is where then I, met them. And in 91, I went to Trivandrum to learn from Kalamandalam, Kalyani Kutyam.
Okay. That's great. So it's really interesting to see, all these connections between dancers and the gurus and the different lineages and so on.
Absolutely. So, when I went to her, it was an amazing experience. It can't be, I cannot really describe in words. What was fantastic and, what finally made me the teacher, and it was both Kalanidhi Mami and Amma, because they did not ask me what I was, what I had learned, what I was going to do with it. They taught me without question.
Okay.
Because I wanted to learn. And that stayed with me and will always stay with me. So that was when I got the structured learning. The others, understanding the body. So before that I was doing, so it was all from the young age, what came into my mind, body, and it was muscle memory which was working.
Yes.
But it was really then so 91 to 93 is when I regularly went to Kripanatara and to, Nrityagram whenever she was there from Bangalore. And I understood the body kinetics and the structure. What was very interesting was, though it was a new structure that I was getting with idols, there were certain body movements which was very similar to what I learned with Balakrishna Menon.
Okay.
Yes, so so connecting that, let me say, that early movement development,
Yes.
With Tankmani Gopinath and, Kalyani Kuti Amma, what was the basic body flows and kinetics. That similarity was amazing. Okay. So, sometimes my body was confused when I was learning. Sometimes some things just came in automatically.
Okay.
I didn't understand then. It was much later that I started thinking about it. That, all this came in.
Ma'am, could you tell us something about your own work? How you have, developed from there to now?
Okay. So, for a long time, I was just a performer. I didn't really teach. I did teach very little. And it was more, which is why, I relearned toolkit and I relearned a lot of things with Kalamandalam, Kalyani Kuti Amma, which is why I forgot all my earlier items. So, which happens. So, for a long time, that was just the system that I was following. And which also kind of went in parallel whatever I learned, in my initial years. Also I would say the fluidity which was there in the movements, even with Tankmani Aunty, Kuti Aunty, that fluidity was there. After which, I was, out of the country for a long time. And that is when really my theoretical studying, I said, now I have the time to study.
Yes.
And all the thought process really started.
Okay.
So two things happened. One was, looking at the various stylizations of Mohiniyattam. So there was a lot of thought, personally, I felt the style that I was doing, I believed in it.
Okay.
Not saying all the others were wrong. So, how it developed, we don't know what the actual vocabulary was. That's the truth.
That's true.
What we know is all from 1930s and how it developed with each guru, each acharya, with thought, with knowledge. So you cannot, kind of disregard anybody.
That's true.
At least that's what I feel. But for me, is what I learned, the body kinetics and the movements that I learned. Somehow for me, that was the belief that, saying that this is the basic movement kinetics that I believe in.
Okay.
So from there, I started, as I said, re-looking at what I had learned earlier, which fit into this broad I would say, standardization of Mohiniyattam.
Hmm.
Very broad standardization. There definitely is a structured stylization.
Yes.
You know, there was a structured stylization. We know from the Shastras, you know, which was a Deshi structured
Yeah.
stylization. And I'm using the word Deshi as it was used in the Shastras. You know, so from, you know, from Abhinavagupta, we have the word Deshi, though it was only dealt with in Sangita Ratnakara and Nitya Ratnavali and later texts.
Yes.
And so with that, we know that there was a Deshi structured stylization.
Yes.
Because, you know, otherwise Balarama Bharata wouldn't have been written.
Yes.
We wouldn't have had record of, not the actual dance, but we have so many records of dancers in temples, in courts, with the word Mohiniyattam,
Yes.
till Swati Tirunal's court.
True.
What the dance form structurally, you know, the changes that it went through with Carnatic influence, we don't know. But it definitely would have gone through structural changes.
Yes.
But I think the broad structure for me, standardized structure, is the fluidity of the
Yes.
movement.
Yes.
So the Andolika, the Atibhanga,
Yes.
usages of all the mandalas, of shifting mandalas, both horizontally and vertically.
Yes.
So based on that, I think also from my earlier learnings, we started exploring. Now, after coming back, I started really teaching and thinking of building up my a repertory. And I was joined by my friend, my colleague, and co-director Mohana Iyer. Mohana and I started Mohiniyattam together with Tankvani Kuttiyanti in 1981. And after that, when I went to Kalyani Kuttiyamma and I used to travel back to Calcutta, you know, we had young both sons. So we used to meet up and she learned the Adavu system from me that time. So I'm saying early 90s.
Okay.
And then, of course, you know, she's a trained Carnatic vocalist. And she's the one who really looks after the music part, the tala part. She's gone and, you know, worked with Kavalam sir. She's gone twice to him while he was there. And so with that knowledge, both of us have started, you know, I would say an expansion which keeps to this broad structure.
Yes.
But expansion in vocabulary of the movement, expansion in choreography.
Okay.
So one of our early productions had been based on the Rigvedic Rakri and Usha Sukta. Why Usha? Because Usha was the first mention of a dancer,
Yes.
historical.
Yes.
And it kind of, the way it has been described was so written so beautifully with Mohiniyattam.
Okay. That's great.
So that is how we started looking at, you know, things outside the structured items.
Okay.
And so that was one thing. Personally, I have been trained in yoga from my childhood. And again, being outside, that also came, you know, I restarted,
Okay.
you know, following yoga, reading Natya Shastra,
Okay.
and, you know, that finding that our performance system is a body, mind, spirit connect in its own.
Yes.
It is, if I can say, a system of yoga.
Yes.
So I would say what was there in the Natya Shastra, you know, the preparation, the
Mm.
Satvika Bhavas, chapter 11 has a tremendous description of the body training and the
Mm.
Ayurvedic body training of
Yes.
the performers.
Correct.
So looking at all that, you know, I felt that so that was kind of lost enough reconstruction.
Okay.
That part of our training.
Yes.
You know, because it was all in a Gurukula. We didn't rush to a class and rush back home
Mm.
for 2 hours. So there was a very integrated, wholesome training which
Mm.
the performance went through.
Yes.
So for me, as my research work was rejuvenating, I will not say, you know, it's nothing new. It's all there.
Mm.
So it's rejuvenating the thing and re-looking at
Mm.
that structuring and that. And that brought me to Kudyatam
Okay.
because firstly in Natya Shastra,
Mm.
then the training and especially with
Mm.
the breath,
Yes.
the prana,
Mm.
which I was looking for. So I
Mm.
saw, I got, you know, the theoretical things from Shastras, from Abhinava Guptacharya,
Mm.
but I was at a loss for the actual living practice.
Yes.
Till I came across Kudyatam.
Okay.
So my research work started with Kudyatam,
Mm.
opened up another sphere
Mm.
in my Mohiniyattam also,
Yes.
connecting
Mm.
the, you know, the roots,
Yes.
or I wouldn't say roots, or sorry, the Kerala, parallel Kerala art forms that were has been
Yes.
described.
That's true.
So we have been working with Amanu Rajneesh Chakyar from
Mm.
2013. My
Okay.
students also go through Kudyatam, you know,
That's great.
especially so he comes, we go, and
Okay.
from there, of course, I came in touch with Guru Nirmala Panikkar.
Okay.
So Nirmala Chechi also, we've been going through, working to see how she has, you know, brought in these Kudyatam and Nangyar Kuthu elements. So, you know, broadening from there and looking at performance. So, you know, breaking out of Mohiniyattam and performance. So last year we premiered, of course, in a very short form. It's a short form we still have to develop into a full piece. We worked on the vrittis with the Natya, according to the Natya Shastra, on a Natya format. So we took training of speaking also. So the Vachika was also included for that.
So was the
So
Vachika in the Kudyatam style?
yes, actually I must say that Kapila Venu came to Calcutta and she did a workshop. You know, it was with Pickle Factory and we partnered Pickle Factory, and then we had asked her that will you help us do this one, and we said because we're not keeping to, you know, we are not saying this is just Kerala style. We took the, you know, a more universal sloka of Yato Hasta Tato Drishti. And she taught us the how to say the Yato Hasta Tato Drishti in the Kudyatam style.
Ma'am, could you tell us something about how you also learned Chow, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
how has, how you has your exposure to these different disciplines informed your Mohiniyattam practice?
Okay. So it was again, you know, while I was performing Mohiniyattam, there were thoughts of doing something new. But at that time, doing things with Mohiniyattam, with contemporary things was difficult. And I saw Daksha Sheth, and Ileana doing their contemporary work at those times with Chau. I wanted to look at Kalaripayattu also, but it was not, early 90s. There was no scope of me learning Kalaripayattu unless I went to Kerala and did it. But in 94, I moved out of Bangalore, out of the south, and in Bombay, and then I came to Delhi. And I had seen Chau. So I said, okay, there was no way that I could do Kalaripayattu. So let me see Chau. So I started, in Delhi. I went, and that is when I started learning Chau also. So I was doing, by then that's main structured Mohiniyattam vocabulary had set in my body, because I've been doing it for so many years. So there was no confusion in that. And Chau was completely different. That took some time for me to understand. And, in those times it was like, oh, I have to keep it separate. So my contemporary will be Chau and my traditional will be Mohiniyattam. And, since then, all that barriers have gone. But Chau gave me another understanding of my body. Different ways. So Mohiniyattam, so both had such stylized use of the Pashwa. Chau had, so Kati, I couldn't find Kati anywhere. Chau gave me those Kati movements. It is later, so I make my students practice all the bhangas, the Brahmasthana bhangas. So those are, so my Churai pools for teaching is completely based on the breath system. So Abhinaya and, in breath system is there in Kudiyattam. So pedagogically, I've developed that, simplifying some things for the students to start practicing. But the physical bit, there are Churai pools. But I would say my contribution has been, or I hope it'll, spread, is I have put in the yogic breath pattern into the exercise training of the body. So that is when somebody asked me that, does Mohiniyattam use Tribhanga? And I hadn't thought of all that before. Then, I went back to books, and what I found is it says, we don't use it for the Nritta. So there is no Tribhanga in Nritta. But in Abhinaya, depiction of Devi, Tribhanga can be used, or Tribhanga actually should be used. That it gives that of the Tribhanga, which is the Devi, and the Dvibhanga comes more as the Vaishnava Sthana, Vishnu or Krishna. So Chau gave me more clarity in teaching, whether I was teaching Mohiniyattam. So, thinking of Andolika, how it is the muscles, the back muscles of stretching and contracting. So I just make my students stretch, contract, stretch, contract. Get that awareness in before getting it into the 8 Andolika. So that is how Chau informed my Mohiniyattam not in the movement, but awareness of movement and breaking down of movements. And for my contemporary work, I have no idea what it is. It's something which comes from within. Chau, Mohiniyattam.
Yeah, I think that's really very important, especially what you have contributed to pedagogy, because when we start teaching Mohiniyattam to especially very young children, it's very difficult to start even with the Churipas.
Absolutely.
They don't understand. So, yes, so I think that's a very significant contribution.
Yes, so it is now the last 3 years that I first started teaching kids now. I just made them do break your body, bring it up. Break your body, so forget about the intricacies. So really, the practice the mandalas, so breathe out, go to one mandala, breathe in, change to the second mandala, breathe out, breathe in, go to the next mandala. So all with the breath, and so breaking down, and sorry, it's given me dimensions in my understanding also. And I have one boy also who's learning with me. So that way, also understanding. For me, of course, earlier it was all, yes, it was soft, it was slow, but the immense musculature control that the dance has, that's the Tandava of the dance. Shiva is not always movement, Shiva is still. That stillness of Mohiniyattam is Tandava. I mean, it is that control of the body needs immense strength. And that's what I tell people. That no dance form has only Lasya, only Tandava. Everything is, a balance of both.
Ma'am, could you tell us something about your the Fulbright scholarship and the work that you did?
Yes. So again, when this research work, working with Kudiyattam, also brought me to the question is, how do I now, bring it into a scholarly, analytical, writing. That is when, my son, who was studying at Brown University, and Brown University has started a contemplative studies initiative, where they were looking at first-person practices. So, then analyzing it through the first-person approach, then a third-person approach. That is then what I started looking at my whole work. So what is happening in me? What is the, thing which is the breath which is happening? How can I then say that, is it, analyzing the whole thing? And I was also not sure how to finally do it in an academic way. And I had visited Brown, and I was talking with his professors, and in another year, that Contemplative Studies Initiative was going to become a department. And it was, a cross-listed department with neuroscience, with performing arts. It was a completely interrelated and interdependent kind of a. And they told me, why don't you look at, we would love to have you here, what you are talking about. And I had given lectures 2 times, on my work there. And they said, look, we can't bring you in because you do not belong to your university or I have any academic, background. So that is how my Fulbright came through. And I think I was one of the first ones who was going out, there to understand this whole process of a third-person analysis of a first-person practice systemization. However much an academician, she sees what I'm doing, will not really understand what is happening internally to me, especially with the Indian dances, Indian classical performance. And it was a fabulous year of learning. And, it's now slowly, everything is kind of crystallizing for me. And I do hope to, at this ripe old age, finally put it into a formal doctoral thesis at some point of time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been wonderful talking to you and listening to you. Thank you so much for sharing all your insights. Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely sharing, and I hope this gives a lot of encouragement, and I think it's very exciting time for Mohiniyattam. So much is happening. And, I hope it develops into so many more people doing, so many people more, people knowing about it. Yes. I think wonderful.
विश्वस्य मिषतो वशी सूर्यचन्द्रमसो धात यथा पूर्वम् अकल्पयत् धिवं च पृथ्वीं च अन्तरिक्षम् अथो स्वः
Ratri, night, and Usha, dawn, manifestations of the same principle, awakening of knowledge and realization. The Ratri Suktam and the Usha Suktam of the Rig Veda have been envisioned by the seers Kaushika and Vishwamitra respectively. Ratri is not without light, but it is inherent in her like the myriad stars which light her up. Realization is within, Nirvikalpa Samadhi.
यावृत्यं पृकं यवयस्तेन मूमे अथान सुतराभ उषमा पिपिषत्तमः कृष्णं व्यक्तमस्तीत उशर्णे शरणेव
वाजेन वाजेनीवते किडतकतक्कुं किण्णक् किडतकतक्कुं किण्णद्धि किडतकतक्कुं तकृतक् किडतकतक्कुं तर्किटधीं किडतकतक्कुं किण्णक् किडतकतक्कुं किण्णद्धि किडतकतक्कुं तकृतक् किडतकतक्कुं तर्किटधीं पग पद पग पद पगरे सा सरि ग गरि ग पद सा नि द प पद सा नि स द सा नि स नि द प नि द प पग पद पगरे सा पग प ग पग पद पगरे सा सरि ग गरि ग पद सा नि द प पद सा नि स द सा नि स नि द प नि द प पग पद पगरे सा सा सरि ग सा सरि रे ग ग प रे रे ग प रे रे ग ग प प ध ग ग प द ग ग प प द ध सा 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 नि द प ग रे सा सा सरि ग सा सरि रे ग ग प रे रे ग प रे रे ग ग प प ध ग ग प ध ग ग प प ध ध सा 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 नि द प ग रे सा ध सा रे ध स रे ग प सा रे ग स रे ग प ध रे ग प रे ग प ध स नि द प नि द प ग रे द प ग द प ग रे सा प ग रे प ग रे सा नि द सा रे द स रे ग प सा रे ग स रे ग प द रे ग प रे ग प द स नि द प नि द प ग रे द प ग द प ग रे सा प ग रे प ग रे सा नि द सा रे द स रे ग प सा रे ग स रे ग प द रे ग प रे ग प द स रे आ
She is the mistress of her own course. This beautiful lady, married to the source of light and giving birth to light, spreads light from the hem of her garment, connecting us to regions above.
स्वस
this light energy, we can be invigorated to handle the battle of life.
Tom, ta, tom, ta, ta, tom, ta, 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 tom, ta, 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 tom, ta, ta, tom, ta, tom,